I couldn't sleep last night, you guys, and I just realized why, Sarah. So thank you. It's because I'm gonna get to say some things this morning that I have been waiting decades to say, and I'm so grateful that I get to say them to you directly. Jennifer Lopez is a singer, a songwriter, an actress, a producer, an entrepreneur, a groundbreaker, a record setter, a trailblazer, a mother, a friend, a once-in-a-lifetime generational talent, a fucking superstar icon, right? She is, without question, one of the most important cultural influencers of our time. She has broken barriers for women, for the Latin community. She's transformed American culture through storytelling, music, fashion, marketing, through just being. By just being herself, Jennifer has evolved our collective understanding of excellence and of beauty and of belonging. But let me back up a little bit. So Jennifer and I are both from the Bronx. And the thing about being from, okay, great. Yes. The thing about being from the Bronx is that it makes you scrappy. And that attitude is not always defined by what we don't have, although most of us did not have much. But it's more about the perception of what you can and cannot do, or sometimes what other people think you should or shouldn't do. When you're from the Bronx, you tend to be scrappy because there are a lot of people who don't believe in the possibilities of what you can become. At the risk of sounding obvious, I want to give you a little cultural context. So in New York City, the Bronx is the underdog borough, right? We're the forgotten ones. Queens has its gardens and its airports, and Brooklyn has Spike Lee, and the Bronx is like the last frontier of gentrification. The stuff of mythical nightmares. From novels like Bonfires of the Vanities to films like Fort Apache, the Bronx has not generally been painted as a place where dreams come true. It's a place where, if I may be completely honest, nice white families fled. They moved to Long Island and New Jersey or north to the suburbs out of fear of the Black and brown people that were moving in and lowering property values and changing the culture. I don't know if you've ever seen the Paul Newman film, Fort Apache, the Bronx. It's a police drama about crime and corruption. It got its name because the police precinct in the South Bronx was called Fort Apache because they said that the Bronx felt like a war zone, a battle-torn war zone, like the US Cavalry fighting indigenous people in the 1800s. Okay, why am I telling you this? In real life, in the Bronx, the Fort Apache Police Precinct was at 1086 Simpson Street. Now, some of you may know that my production company, Simpson Street, is named after the street in the Bronx that my mother grew up on. I named the company Simpson Street because my grandparents came to this country from Jamaica through Ellis Island. They made a home on Simpson Street, just down the block from Fort Apache Precinct. And contrary to the story that Hollywood was telling, it was not a cesspool of danger and crime and corruption. It was a home with love and laughter. It was the beginning of our family's American dream. Despite its reputation, being from the Bronx has always been a source of pride for me. Today, I'm deeply honored to be here to celebrate my brilliant and beautiful Bronx sister because while my mother's dreams were born on Simpson Street, by the time I was forming dreams of my own, it was Jenny from the block who gave me something to believe in. Now, I know. When you hear me say Jenny from the block, your mind immediately references the song, right? Maybe you hear this thumping hip-hop track. You see her in the rocks that she's got, cruising around LA in a convertible, pop icon movie star. But when I talk about Jenny from the block, here's who I remember. Jennifer and I both grew up in the Castle Hill Soundview section of the East Bronx. We went to the very same Boys and Girls Club. Some of you may have heard this before, but when our beloved dance teacher, Larry Maldonado, got sick and was hospitalized, we were all crushed, but Jennifer, ever the leader, she stepped in to substitute teach some of the younger girls' classes and help us prepare for our annual dance recital, appropriately called Broadway Babies. So basically, J-Lo taught me how to dance. I wish I had better moves to prove it, but I can hold my own. But dance is not the only thing that she taught me. When Jennifer left the Bronx to move out to Los Angeles to pursue a career in entertainment, she taught me what creative courage looks like. When she started to appear every Sunday night on our TVs as a fly girl during In Living Color, she taught me the value of chasing my own unique dreams. When she blew audiences away in Selena and then in movie after movie after movie, she taught me to make room in my heart and in my imagination for what to anyone else might seem impossible. Now, to be clear, back then, honestly, I didn't think I had what it took. I mean, Jennifer was different. She was always gorgeous, always a phenom. When her star started to rise, nobody in the neighborhood was surprised. She was always a supernova. As little girls, we used to hide in the wings to watch her on stage, knowing that we were in the presence of someone very, very special. Me, I was a little bit more of like an awkward, nerdy theater kid. I could not imagine myself on the cover of magazines or doing beauty campaigns or at fancy awards breakfasts. So when my star started to rise, I struggled a lot with anxiety and fear and imposter syndrome. Inevitably, I would do some photo shoot or an interview, and when it came out, the visibility would send me into a panic. I would sometimes literally hide under my covers, feeling vulnerable and ill-equipped for a life, or even, quite honestly, a moment in the spotlight. But sometimes, on a lucky day, or maybe just on a day when my therapy was working, I would remember to think of Jennifer, and I would say, Jen does this. She was doing it, and I knew her. She was one of us. She was out there taking risks and being bold and breaking records and making history. And if she could do all that, maybe I could get out of bed and go to another audition, despite my feelings that I wasn't enough. As I started to get more acting work and do more photo shoots and go to more award shows, whenever I walked into rooms that I worried I didn't belong in, I brought Jennifer with me. And then I felt less alone, and I felt more capable. And eventually, I felt ready to make some showbiz history of my own. And I did. I have a lot of people to thank for the career that I enjoy today. I mean, the great Sherry Lansing put me in my first ever studio film, Save the Last Dance. And like Jennifer, I rode that famous 6 train. I commuted every day on the 6 from the Bronx to Manhattan to attend the same school as Gwyneth Paltrow. And she has always supported and embraced me as her fellow Spence sister. Thank you, GP. Congrats. But before all of that, there was Jen. And she was paving the pathway, treading a trail despite the odds of undeniable excellence and unapologetic ambition. I knew I had to have some of what she had, some of that drive to succeed, despite often being the only Black woman in the room or the first Black woman to headline a network drama in 40 years. I knew I could do it because Jennifer did it, because the Bronx made us scrappy. It might sound like hyperbole, but I am telling you, without Jennifer Lopez, there is no Kerry Washington. But here's the crazier reality, is I am one of millions of people who feel that way. This award is so fitting for Jennifer, the Equity in Entertainment Award, because it's for someone who promotes and amplifies the voices of underrepresented communities in this industry. Jennifer has always used her platform to represent the beauty and humanity of her community and to create endless opportunities for other people to do the same. Jennifer and I, we've only worked together once. It was in a musical, Annie, at the Boys and Girls Club. I was that annoying orphan, I think her name is Tess, who goes, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. And Jennifer was, of course, Ms. Grace, the elegant love interest to Daddy Warbucks, the surrogate mother to Annie. I'm sure she doesn't remember this, but one day at rehearsal, Jen encouraged me to sing out. Mira, we need to hear you, she said. It was an invitation to step into the fullness of my voice, and I will never forget it. Which brings me to Kiss of the Spider-Woman. Oh my God. If you have not seen this film adaptation of the Broadway musical, but you're in the mood to watch a superstar deliver a captivating triple threat tour de force performance, watch it. In the film, Jennifer plays the dual roles of both the Spider-Woman and Aurora, also known as La Luna, all these celestial names for the superstar that she is. The reactions to Jennifer's performance are, like her, spectacular. She is deservedly blowing people's minds, but not me. Because while so many of you know her as the rom-com queen and the plunging Versace gown and the 3,000 entrepreneurial successes, the Jenny I know from the block is really and always has been a Broadway baby. She sang show tunes before she had pop hits. She studied classical dance before she was popping and locking on MTV. My heart swells when I watch Kiss of the Spider-Woman because what I see is Jennifer pouring all of her talent and her work ethic and her heart and her creative power and prowess into this important story about love and belonging and revolution and imagination. With this one project, Jennifer utilizes her star power to uplift political history, Latin voices, revolutionary voices, activists, the LGBTQIA community, the artist community, the need for reform in the criminal justice system. Time and time again, she uses the power of her presence to inspire, and I am forever grateful. I'll never forget when in this administration's first term, they were separating families, putting children in cages, and Jennifer courageously brought that imagery to her groundbreaking Super Bowl performance and broke all of our hearts open. There's a line in Kiss of the Spider-Woman when the character Molina says, "The thing I love about La Luna is that no matter how hard Hollywood tried to make her seem all-American, she never stopped being Latin." Jennifer, the same can be said for you. Your scrappy pursuit of your dreams has made it possible for so many of us to expand our notion of what's possible. So I want to thank you for believing in yourself, for shifting the culture. Thank you for your courage and for your hustle and for your example. Thank you for never forgetting where you come from and for your support through these years. Thank you for being you. Muchísimas gracias y felicidades.